According to Nadiya Savchenko, the order for the merits in the fight against fascism, and it will be presented by German Obukhov, who is coordinator of the International Anti-Putin Coalition.
Герман, может, вы скажете нам пару слов?
Да, конечно.
Well, I'll read aloud what is written on our certificate of our International Anti-Putin Coalition, Stop Fascism in Russia. Nadiya Savchenko is awarded, who is the pilot of Ukrainian military forces, and she is also the member of Ukrainian Parliament for courage and dignity in her fight against fascism. And I would like to add that she has fought not only Russian invaders and separatists, but also in the fight against neo-fascism in Russia, as she is staunchly fighting while in prison in Moscow. She issues statements, and she does show to the world that she won't be broken, and she will endure this trial and her trials, and I hope that we will see her here in good health, and very soon we will award her some other awards. And now Nadiya Savchenko will tell us something about her daughter, as we do not have an opportunity to convey to hand out the award personally to Nadiya. What can I tell you? For me, the biggest award would be if Nadia comes home, that she is released from this Russian prison, and I don't know when this will happen. Yesterday I watched this trial, and of course her health is now not a pilot's health. She's being tortured there. And I pray to God that she returns home alive. I don't know when this will happen, but let this happen sooner. This Lilliput does not pay attention to anything. The world community raises the issue everywhere in the world, but the Lilliput is a Lilliput. He either does not understand anything or he just plays a fool. But I think that if he is in such a position, then he should understand the world community and perform some issues that are being demanded from him, because he tries to make Ukraine kneel, but this would not happen, because most of the contemporary youth are patriots. They have risen bravely. Those students on Maidan, and they have died in Maidan, and the 100 has not died in vain. We should prove that they were right, and we should bow lowly to their parents, because they are brought up such youths. And what did they die for? Because such a brother, in inverted commas, for 350 years was telling us that they loved us and they help us, and this is the sort of help they do. They provide that projectiles and bombs are exploding, and 5 of our guys were killed yesterday, and 12 were wounded. And of course the biggest patriots of Ukraine have died, and God gave their parents strength and health so that they endure like I am enduring. The tears are suffocating me, but I have to endure.
Дякую.
Thank you. I sincerely thank for this award to Nadiya. The biggest award for me will be when Nadiya is back. Thank you. The whole Ukraine prays for Nadiya. The government is trying to do all they can to get Nadiya back to Ukraine. If you have any questions, dear journalists, I would like to add. I would like to add to this wonderful presentation of the mother. From our point of view, this reminds me of the provocation of Hitler in 1939 when he set fire to Reichstag, blaming the communists in that to make his authority stronger and then to switch to dictatorship. It's obvious that this is a political action and there's no crime in that. They wanted to have the demonstrative court proceedings, but they failed. That was just a kidnapping. When a person was kidnapped, taken to a different country, and they're trying to demonstrate what in fact was not the case, or what does not exist. And I hope that the truth will win, and we will see Nadiya in Kiev, and she herself will tell us about what happened. But of course it will sound, we know what happened, but it will sound differently from her. I hope this will happen soon. We will also be putting all the efforts in the West to help her find freedom. May I say a couple of words? Yes. Nadiya wrote to us when she was taken prisoner by separatists. On the 20th of May, she went to war. I told her, Nadiya, that is something for men, but she said, Mother, you are patriot and you brought us up as patriots, and I gave the oath to Ukrainian people to defend my people and my motherland. And she went to war, but when she was taken prisoner by separatists, a young guy, she wrote a letter. She writes a book now, and the young guy was beating her on head, shoulders and knees, and then there was this order given to take her to Russia, and she was taken from checkpoint to checkpoint. They were changing the cars and taking her to Russia. She had a bag on her head, and they were asking her, do you see the cars? And they say, okay, you see this car? She said, yes, I see. And then they put another bag on her head. But when she was taken to Russia, she saw that that was some village, and she realized that is the border with Russia. And in Russia, she wrote that they organized kidnapping. The Major Menshin Dmitry Sergeyevich from Russian service, and Major Colonel Medvedev, and she was put in Voronezh in Yura hotel, and they were put guards at the door. She was kept there for a week, then she was put into the detention facility number 3 in Voronezh, and when on the 13th of October we went to the court proceedings, Nadiya was not brought there. They invited me to Dremanov, the general of the investigation committee, and I asked him, why have you kidnapped her? Why have you taken her to Russia? What right do you have? And he says, we are taking care of her because in Ukraine they want to kill her. I say, okay, that's a good answer. And then this mention started asking me the questions. Why did she go to war in Iraq? Because she wanted to become a pilot, and she was said that go to the army, serve, and then we'll take you. Why did she go to Donbass to kill people? No, she's military. And she gave oath to defend her people and her motherland. And she wrote that this guy who's 20 and who was beating her with the machine gun. He was trained in Mykolaiv, and well, she said I could have taken this machine gun from him and could have killed him, but I gave the oath to Ukrainian people that I will defend Ukrainian people, and I could not kill this young guy of 20. And then Minshin started asking me different questions. You are Ukrainians, you are killing Ukrainians, you are putting 400 people into one grave. And I said, from which movie? Because they are making the movies, they put together the Second World War, Syria, Afghanistan, and then they show that to Ukrainians who understand nothing. And then he was asking me other questions, and I did not answer, because the counselor said if you say 5 words, they will add 350 more. So I'm not answering. Why are you not answering? I said, I spent the night at the hotel. I was crying all night, and I have a headache. And he says, I will call an ambulance. I say, no, I don't need it. Then he asks me the question again, and I tell him, and he says, I will call the doctor, and you will talk to me. Then my lawyer came. They asked him a question, Chinguz answered, and the second, Chinguz answered, and then Chinguz asked the question. He did not know what to answer, and he says, why are you blackmailing me? Why are you? I'm not blackmailing you. You should know that you are the major. You know nothing. And then when we left, when we came out to the street, I tell to my lawyer, he's from SS, because that these are the torturers who torture my child and our guys. I read it yesterday, I read it again today in the internet, how our guy who had Glory to Ukraine written on his hand, one bandit cut off his hand. Are these people, they're not human beings now. 2 guys came from Zhytomyr village, and they do whatever they want to them. The Germans were not doing that in 1941-45. They were not doing what our so-called brothers are doing to our people, these torturers. This is it. Thank you. Thank you. If you have questions, the journalists, once you have no questions, then thank you again, and we wish you patience. And Nadiya has become the symbol for Ukraine, for everyone in Ukraine, in Russia, all over the world. And then on the 13th, but she was not taken there, she was at the hospital. And when we gave the documents from Vinnytsia, from the ministry, the chief doctor said, she's a pilot. Once she's a pilot, it means that this is the person who's healthy and sound. But the lawyer said for 21 days they have to observe her, and that's how they were observing her. They had light on day and night, the doors open, The policeman is there, and all day and night he's knocking at the door so that she could not sleep. Our counselor wrote a letter, and then they removed this person, and she stayed there for 21 days. What else did I want to say? She writes about that in the book. I was watching TV, I thought maybe there will be a record. Russians put on her card 40,000 probably rubles, and she said, I will leave this money in Russia. Everyone helps children, but no one helps those who are in prison. She said maybe we need to buy blankets to the prisoners, because she wrote to us what they are sleeping on. They are sleeping on boards, but she requested to buy blankets, and Novikov, the lawyer, bought. Our ministry sent 6,000 hryvnias, and Batkivshina helps, and he buys the blankets, and she took this blanket, and they come and they say, you cannot have two blankets. You cannot have two blankets. They took one blanket away from her. And they do not allow her to speak Ukrainian. When we were there, they say, for example, I was talking to Nadiya on the 13th of October, speak only Russian. And I say, but I do not know Russian. Though I speak Russian, I write Russian, I read Russian, but that's what I said. According to our law, you can speak only Russian, but according to our law, you can speak only Ukrainian, and we were speaking Ukrainian. But when Vera went there, they gave only 8 minutes to Vera, and they did not allow her to speak Ukrainian, and they do not allow letters written in Ukrainian to be sent. They allow to send only Russian letters in Russian language. These are our brothers. Thank you again for your